Finally going to stop procrastinating on getting these Texas Speed long tube headers installed. I've had them in and out of this car once before, but I don't think I've ever seen a single video of anybody showing actually stabbing the headers in the car. Lots of unboxings, but that's about it. So when I did this last time, I didn't do anything special to the engine other than take the coil packs and the valve covers off. No jacking the engine, no undoing the starter on the passenger side. It pretty much just goes right in from the top. I do have an extra challenge on this particular installation in that I left the mid pipes in the car. I took them out that way with the mid pipes in the car, but going back in, I am going to have to not only drop the header down in there, but also climb underneath and stab the collector together, slit fits of course, and then come back up and finish the top side. So I'll see if I can get somewhat of a shot of the header actually dropping down in there. Alright, let's give this a try. Doesn't help that it's kind of tight in here. The wife's car's landlocked in here. Too much snow in front of the garage door. Go. Nothing too aggressive, not damaging anything. It does ride down the air conditioning line a little bit, but nothing too crazy. I am down and fully in. I'm up against the collector now, but there would be no further complications from here on out as far as it fitting. So I'm going to climb underneath the car and get that collector done. And then we'll set up to do the driver's side. Okay, now we are going to do the driver's side. Everything's ready. Same thing as the passenger side. The valve cover's off. Coil packs and valve covers off. Nothing, I shouldn't say nothing else is disconnected. Steering shaft is disconnected. The first time I did this, I disconnected the steering shaft and I just laid it on the K member down below. I was able to get the header in, but it's still, I had to force it past the steering shaft, and it also dented the oil filter a little bit. So what I learned on disassembly was take the steering shaft and stick it up on top of the frame rail up here, and then it gives you just worlds more room. I don't know why that just came to me at the time when I was taking it apart. So hopefully I don't make a liar out of myself, and this guy will just literally drop right in there. And as I said before, the engine mounts are still torqued. Nothing's jacked up or anything like that. Also, if you buy the Texas Speed 1 3/4 long tubes, there's a 95% chance you're going to have to dent the primary tube that's closest to the steering shaft. I'll see if I can get a shot of that in the camera. Right there. It actually turned out pretty good. It's nice and smooth. Doesn't look like it's been beat to hell with a ball peen hammer, which I can't stand that. Very happy with the way this turned out. And there you have it, guys. The driver's side is literally easier than the passenger side. It's actually about getting ready to fall all the way through. But hopefully she'll stay there. I gotta climb underneath the car again and pack the slip fits. I know a lot of people chronically complain about slip fits leaking. I'm not a huge fan of slip fits, but that's how these headers are. I always pack them with high temp RTV, and I've never had one leak. It's just kind of messy when you're working with it until you get it put together, but it does work. So I'll get this all buttoned up, and then maybe we'll go around just take a look at the finished install when it's done. The headers are completed. It actually went better than I expected it was going to, which is always a bonus. New gaskets, got them all torqued up. Collectors are done. O2 sensors are done. I don't know if it shows very good on the camera or not, but I now have just a huge amount of clearance to the steering shaft. You can actually see the rub mark on that factory column sticker, where it was rubbing on there before, but yeah, I don't think that's going to be a problem anymore. Sorry, my lighting kind of sucks, but overall I'm really happy with these headers. They're very good quality for the price. There's times when I kind of wish I would have tried maybe some of the other offerings out there, but I don't regret buying these. But like I said, if you do buy these headers, if you have any inklings that the steering shaft's going to rub on there, I would go ahead and dent that pipe in just a little bit, 1/4 inch or so, before you install them for good. Otherwise you may end up taking them back out, because you will feel it rubbing on the steering shaft when you go around right hand corners. Just a shot of the passenger side, all done and torqued up. Did put a fresh set of factory gaskets in there. There's actually quite a bit of room around the passenger side as well. I'm not worried about any of the wiring or anything long term. I've never really had a problem with that on any of the other cars that I've had to that had LS motor in it, so some guys get a little worried about that, and I get that. But I've never had any failures related to long tubes, so I'm just gonna, whoops, sorry about that. Gonna keep going the way we have been. So since this is an early C5, you do have to change the dipstick assembly and tube to the newer style, which we've done, and it fits really nice, easy to install. Here's a little shot from underneath the car. Got it up on the quick jacks right now, but you can see how far the pipes hang down. They do hang down a little bit. I've smacked the right side on a speed bump once already, and this car's not terribly low. So that's something also to keep in mind if you want to try these headers, is if your car's really low, I might recommend one of the more expensive brands of headers that tuck up in there a little bit higher, because you will probably tear these up if you're not careful. I'm aware of it, and I'm generally the only one that drives this car, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. Let's see if I can move us in a little bit closer without making everybody sick. You can see how the collectors come together, and the O2 sensors tuck up in there pretty nicely. I run my extensions through a aftermarket tunnel plate, and that actually works out pretty good. Then you can see further back, I completely made a mid-pipe with a pair of Magnapacks in it. Basically, they're acting as resonators. The rest of the exhaust is what appears to be possibly a copy of a Corsa exhaust system or catback that's on the car. The quieter of the versions of the Corsa, but like I said, I'm pretty sure it's not an actual Corsa system. I'm not sure. It was on the car when I got it. It doesn't sound too bad. I actually don't have any plans on changing it. I probably would have done without the Magnapacks, but the car was pretty loud at wide open throttle, and I can tolerate quite a bit of noise, and it was loud. And I knew since I was going to be doing the heads and cam that I wanted to quiet it down some without buying a whole new catback. So the Magnapacks were the way to go for me, and they fit. They sound really good. They knock just enough sound out of it, but it's still pretty barky at wide open throttle. So that's always a bonus, because that's fun. And that probably concludes this part of taking a look at these headers and seeing how they go in. Like I said, they're not perfect, but they do get the job done. And I'm actually very interested to see what my tuner thinks as far as power capabilities. I know they're only 1 3/4 inch, but this is a stock size motor, so I don't think it's too far off on the sizing. Any other details I can think of? You do absolutely have to use O2 extensions with these headers, because the O2 sensors are way back there. But on that note, if anybody ever has any questions on installing these headers in a C5 Corvette, feel free to post up a question in the comments, and I'll see if I can answer that.